This is part 3 of the build journal for Blaster, and I'm still working on a name for it. A couple good options, thinking about possibly Jigsaw, possibly Arctic Wind. Yeah, a couple good choices. We're still haven't decided, hadn't made up my mind for the final one, but we'll still call it the extra tactical rough cut at this point. And what I'm showing here is what I did with the battery tray. So I wanted to put a fairly good sized LiPo, and it's going to be a 4S LiPo, and those things tend to be a lot fatter than the 2S and even the 3S. As your LiPos get bigger, they tend to want to be fatter. And so the LiPos that I'm finding are in the 25, 27 millimeter width and thickness. So this battery tray from the Strife just it isn't there isn't enough space in there, and I don't want to put an extender on it because this thing's already sticking out the side. If I put an extender on the top of this, it's going to be coming way out of here. So what I did, and I'm going to twist this up here, you can see a little bit, is I actually cut the bottom out of the Strife battery tray, and then I went through and cut out the rise here on the back side of the Strife. So you flip it over on the back, you can see this is it used to go down to here, but I brought it all the way up to here in line with the mag well. So the mag still fits here, but it reclaims this space about 10, 12 millimeters or so within here to allow it that battery to sit down in there. And then I've hollowed the whole thing out and got it in space. So when we put the jam door, or put the, the battery cover door on here, it looks like it does on the other Hailstorm mods, but you pull that out, you've got all this depth to get your LiPo down in here. I've cut a window into the Rapid Strike portion of this blaster up here high above the mag well, and want to mount a voltmeter so I can monitor the charge of the LiPo battery that goes in it. And the voltmeter that I'm going to use, it's one that I got from Hobby King, and I really like this one, and I'll show you why here in a second. But it's going to fit back in here like this, pop through, and sit right there and be mounted. It's just a hair loose like now, but when the layers of paint get on that, it's going to fit in there nice and snugly. But the reason that I like this one, and I decided I want to get this one, is it's set up to connecting to the JST connector that comes on LiPo battery. And I've got a test pack here, my Zippy 1800 milliamp hour 4S, and you take it and you plug it in like so, and it gives you display reading on each of the cells. I'll bring it down here so you can see it, and it also gives you the total charge, and it just continuously cycles through that. So we're at 15.1 volts for the pack, and then you can see each of the individual cells on there are around 3.8 volts. So I'm going to wire this thing up, and I'm going to have an extension off of the JST connector. It's going to plug in here. It's going to wrap down through here, back down through the area on the motor cage, and then plug right back into the JST. So whenever you have the JST connector portion of the LiPo plugged into the second lead that's going to be coming out into the battery tray, it's going to power this, and then you'll have this thing active all the time. I thought that was a neat little touch, and I liked this one because it was more than just a simple voltage meter for where the LiPo was, but it kind of gives you each of the cells, and it's cycling through them, and I thought it was just going to be a nice touch to add into the blaster. I'm on the home stretch with the Bodywork on this blaster. I finally got the lines just about where I want them. You can see up here I've got this coming exactly kind of where I want it, and the lines here back on the stock. Now I've still got a little bit of rough sanding to do on certain areas, and then I've got to do fine sanding on the whole blaster. But you can kind of see where I've still got some roughness and how the whole lines are coming together on all this. A little bit more 100 grit sandpaper over this, a couple rough spots, and then take it down with 220, and I'm going to be ready to prime it.